Good evening. I want to welcome all of you to this meeting of the Wendell Town Board of Commissioners. We're so excited to have you all here with us tonight. We're going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight by Police Chief John Slaughter.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just leave it. We don't have to public hearings. For our invocation tonight, the Wendell Council of Churches, we're to hear from Wendell First Baptist Church. Is anyone here from Wendell First Baptist? And I see my Plan B, Mr. Errol, isn't here as well. Can Commissioner Joyner take care of that, please?
Yes, ma'am. Join me in prayer. Father God, thank you for this evening. Thank you for this wonderful town that we all get to call home. Please give the board wisdom and humility and grace this evening as we consider things, play blessings on our town and unity in our decisions. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Madam Mayor, just need to swap items 6D and 6C.
Okay, so approved swap with items 6D and 6C swapped.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. The public comment may participate in public comment by the night of the meeting by signing up at the podium at the door, and you will have 3 minutes to speak, or you can submit written comments via email to the town clerk as long as they're received by Friday at 5 p.m. on the Friday before the Monday meeting or before our next meeting. Comments timely received will be read into the record for a length of 3 minutes. And we have no one signed up tonight. So this is your twice a month reminder that we'd like to hear from you. So please come sign up. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move into section 4, recognitions, reports, and presentations. Item 4A is a proclamation recognizing September 16th, 2025 as National IT Professionals Day. I love it when we have these because we get to drag our employees out and, recognize how much we like them, and it kind of embarrasses them a little bit, but I think that's fun.
Not being behind the computer this time.
I know you can't hide. We don't get to see Gregory very often. All right. So this is a proclamation proclaiming September 16th, 2025 as National Information Technology Professionals Day in the town of Wendell. Whereas National Information Technologies Professional Day is celebrated on the third Tuesday of every September in recognition and appreciation for IT professionals who take care of the critical technology infrastructure that is relied on to power our digital experience. And whereas IT professionals play a critical role in managing and maintaining the essential systems and applications that allow the town to serve its residents with excellent services, and whereas the town of Wendell IT services include cybersecurity, system security, ongoing maintenance of the town's telecommunication and computer systems, overseeing managed service providers and third-party contractors, serving as the liaison for the town's endeavors with the county, state, and federal agencies in all manners of technology. And whereas the town of Wendell has been improved by the results of the dedicated efforts of our newly expanded IT staff as they have continued to increase efficiency, protect town assets, and improve the safety of our residents and employees. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Wendell Town Board of Commissioners, I, Virginia Gray, Mayor of the town of Wendell, do hereby designate September 16th, 2025 as National Information Technology Professionals Day in the town of Wendell, and further extend appreciation to our 2 IT professionals, Gregory Kipiego and Braxton Macklin, and to all IT professionals for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Duly proclaimed this the 8th day of September 2023, and it's signed by me. We just wanted to have you here tonight and thank you for everything that you do. We really appreciate it. You helped me with something today, in fact. So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the recognition. We really appreciate it. I want to extend this to my colleague and teammate,
He's
Braxton.
hiding back there.
Braxton McLean. So I want to extend this to him and also thank him as well for the support that he provides together with me. So we're grateful and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Braxton, as well. And I think we're going to take a picture. Okay, just come right over here. All right, the next is a proclamation, item 4B is a proclamation recognizing September 15th through 19th, 2025 as Finance and Accounting Appreciation Week. Whereas Finance and Accounting Appreciation Week occurs annually during the third week of September to recognize the duties and services provided by accountants and finance professionals nationwide. And whereas the Town of Wendell's Finance Department consists of 6 dedicated and knowledgeable staff members who strive each day to ensure professionalism in accounting operations, annual budgets, contracts, and financial management, all while maintaining the highest standards of fiscal integrity, transparency, and accountability. And whereas the Town of Wendell Finance Department safeguards our public resources through careful budgeting, accurate reporting, and compliance with regulations to protect taxpayer dollars, and whereas finance and accounting staff play crucial roles in the overall functioning of the Town of Wendell by providing timely financial information, guidance and support to staff across all departments, and assistance with sound decision-making. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Wendell Town Board of Commissioners, I, Virginia Gray, Mayor of the Town of Wendell, do hereby designate September 15th through 19th, 2025 as Finance and Accounting Appreciation Week in the Town of Wendell, and further extend our gratitude to the Town of Wendell Finance Department for their hard work, dedication, and service to our community. Duly proclaimed this the 8th day of September, 2025, and it's signed by me. And do you have anything you want to say, Garrett?
Thank you for the recognition. My staff and I greatly appreciate y'all's support, management support, staff support. We're kind of behind the scenes folks that, as you kind of read, kind of assist all the other departments in making sure things happen. So yeah, appreciate the recognition. Since Gregory, did he leave? Greg only got a day, so I'll share my week with him. So, but yeah,
We just do what the other people say.
that's right. But yeah, thank you.
We'll be seeing why this is the case with special recognition here shortly. Let's get a picture. Now we get to see why. So item 4C is a GFOA Certificate of Achievement in Financial Reporting for fiscal year 2024. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor, Board of Commissioners. So happy to be here today to announce that the Town of Wendell has received its 8th overall Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association, or GFOA. As I said, this is our 8th overall and second consecutive award. We had a gap year in there, unfortunately. But it is for the submission of our fiscal year 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. This is a voluntary program to participate in, but what it does is it anyone who is submitting these reports is kind of going above and beyond the standard set of financial reports that the state of North Carolina requires. It's made up of 4 sections: your introductory section, financial, statistical, and an optional compliance section or single audit section if as applicable. We are required to submit to the GFOA 6 months following the closing of the particular fiscal year we're submitting for, so that would have been December 31st of 2024. It does take a good little while for their panel to review all the submissions. The panel does consist of government and accounting professionals across the nation. While, again, we have some state standards, there are nationwide standards through GASB that we're all kind of playing from the same rules and regulations. I will say I feel that we're in a pretty good small group of agencies across the state. As of when I was preparing this presentation, we were one of 59 municipalities and 113 overall local government, or there's some other like utility agencies in North Carolina to receive this certificate of achievement for fiscal year 2024. So not everybody will receive it, so I feel that we're in good company and proud of having received this again this year.
We're very proud of it. So thank you for all
Thank you.
things, you and your staff. Thank you, everyone, for
Yes, ma'am.
making that happen.
Thank you.
All right, item 4D is the GFOA Award for Outstanding Achievement in Popular Annual Finance Reporting for fiscal year 2024.
Thank you, Mayor. So kind of in that same thread of receiving their certificate of achievement for our annual comprehensive financial report, we did elect to participate for the first time ever in the GFOA's Popular Financial Report, or PAFR program. Happy to announce that we did receive the award for that program for the submission of our fiscal year 2024 Citizens Financial Report. The goal of the PAFR program is to encourage government agencies to take their annual comprehensive financial reports, which are, depending on a government agency, can be several hundred pages long, with a lot of in-the-weeds notes and financial statements that the common citizen may have difficulty reading and understanding of what the town's financial position may be. So the PAFR program encourages those to kind of strip down the information to what citizens typically are looking for and presenting it in a much more layman's term, common language. We, of course, submitted for that and received that, and that document can be found on the Finance Department's website. It's about, I don't know, I think it's about 15 pages long. So like I said, we're going from about 150 pages to 15 of just all the high-level information that you may want to know. Something else that I'm kind of proud of now that we've received this is that we are one of 8 municipalities to receive the PAFR statewide, and we're one of 8 municipalities, or government agencies rather, to receive all 3 awards that the GFOA has programs for, being the Certificate of Achievement, which we just presented, the PAFR program, and the Budget Award. So for FY24, we did receive all 3. So again, something we're very proud of.
Congratulations for
Thank
all
you.
that. Thank you.
Madam Mayor? Garrett, I just want to say thank you. And you're right, you guys are always kind of behind the scenes. The public doesn't have a way to randomly bump into finance staff, nor do finance staff generally come outside to see the public, right? Like you like your things. We're growing, and Wendell is doing a lot of things. The first year we did this program, I didn't understand the level of transparency that long-term we'd be able to create by consistently doing this over and over and over and over again. But this Citizens Financial Report that y'all produced this year was top-notch, absolutely stellar. I've read government budgets for a long time, and you're right, consuming, and then there's a lot of things in there that if you're just trying to understand what the budget is about, you don't need to read last year's fee schedule and compare it to the last 5 years. You just want to read what it is. I think I reshared that multiple times this year. Thank you so much for your staff's commitment to explaining the details, even when you explain them to us and we say, what does that mean again? And you explain them. Thank you. And thank you for giving us our own version of being able to understand it. But that level of transparency helps every other agency be the frontline agency. And certainly appreciate you and your work on it.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you, very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, item 4E is the Wake Transit Plan presentation. We have Mr. Coates we're going to hear from, and we have a guest.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. Tonight, Ben Howell with the Campo staff is here. He will present the recommended 2035 Wake Transit Plan. This has been an ongoing process. Currently, public comment is out on this proposed plan through October 5th, so we encourage residents to go to the link that's on the screen, publicinput.com/Wake Transit 2035 to provide additional input. There are a lot of things going on right now in social media. The engagement for this latest round just started, and so Ben is on the roadshow at various town boards. So I'm going to kick this off to Ben Howell, and then he and I can answer any questions that you may have on the 2035 transit plan.
We're happy to have you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. So, and since I was just here, seems like only yesterday, but it was a few months ago, I'll try and keep this a little bit short on some of the background and focus in on what we have finalized with this recommended plan, and also review some of the feedback we heard from the last, what we call our Phase 3 public engagement. So just to remind you, some background, the transit plan is made up of 4 big moves: connect regionally, connect all Wake County communities, create frequent, reliable urban mobility, and enhance access to transit. And under each of those big moves lies all of the investments that we're looking to make over the next 10 years. So speaking of the next 10 years, so far we've invested over $200 million since the creation of the Wake Transit Plan, and we're looking to invest another $350 million in the next few years, including construction on New Bern Bus Rapid Transit Corridor, completing design of the southern and western bus rapid transit corridors and taking those to construction. We also have a Go Raleigh, Go Wake Access ADA maintenance facility and call center that's getting ready to go under construction. Cary will be building a multimodal center, and then we have the Raleigh Union Station bus facility, the Go Triangle, recently opened this summer. So for the 2035 Wake Transit Plan, we're keeping the 4 big moves. Again, as I said, and connect the region, we're focusing our investment in the rail network on regional rail, so really looking to the Amtrak style rail versus creating a new commuter rail system. We're looking to connect all Wake County communities by connecting them to each other and to Raleigh and Cary and the existing services around, as well as build up to 5 what we're calling community transportation hubs, which would be community hubs in the smaller communities that have multiple transit services. So it would be a place where multiple transit services and modes could interact. People could go from one bus route to another, or from a bus route to microtransit, or to bike, or even car share. And then we have create frequent, reliable urban mobility. That's focused on improving and increasing our frequent network around the county, primarily in Raleigh and Cary, as well as building out our bus rapid transit corridors. And then for enhanced access to transit, we're planning to invest at least $3 million a year in bus stop infrastructure, as well as tripling the size of the community funding area to program to invest more in individual communities. So we expect to have approximately $3 billion to spend over the next 10 years, And as you can see, a majority of that is going to be spent on building and operating bus rapid transit and operating more bus service. We also have about $252 million to go to regional rail, and then it goes down from there, including purchasing more buses, completing the maintenance facilities, paying for leases, and then also the community funding area program. Getting into the four big moves themselves, we have Connect the Region map, which is what we have termed our DNA map, although it's becoming less and less like the DNA, like a map of DNA, as we've added the regional rail investment areas, including the potential rail down through Apex, and then the S-line up towards Wake Forest, as well as showing our bus rapid transit extensions out from Garner towards Clayton and out from Cary towards Morrisville and RTP. Then we have our Connect All Wake County communities. This map shows how we are looking to try and connect communities not only to each other, but also into Raleigh and Cary. And some of the key projects include working to ensure that all 12 communities are connected to one of our existing transit systems and establishing town-to-town connections where possible. We're also looking to increase transit service around the county, adding all-day service where as much as possible, increasing that span and frequency, running buses longer during the day and running them more often throughout the county. And then, as I mentioned, development of up to 5 new community transportation hubs. And then the next big move is create frequent, reliable urban mobility. As you can see on here, the big red lines and the big dotted red lines is our BRT system, and then the black lines and dotted black lines is our existing and proposed future frequent network. When we say frequent network, we mean buses that run generally every 15 minutes and run a majority of the day, between 16 and 17 hours during the weekdays. And then our bus rapid transit system we're anticipating that'll run 10 to 15 minute frequencies, and those services generally should run between about 18 to 19 hours during the weekdays. So we're looking to continue to build out our frequent network, nearly tripling it from about 109 miles today up to 304 miles by the end of the decade, and that would include 65 miles of our bus rapid transit system. And then finally, we have our enhanced access to transit. Again, this is primarily where we're looking at in tripling the investment in the community funding area and also investing in more transit infrastructure around bus stops, transit stations, crosswalks, sidewalks, get people safely to the transit stop. So some major changes from the last 10-year plan include investing in regional rail instead of commuter rail and expanding our BRT network. As I mentioned, we have our what we call our core BRT services in Raleigh, going up New Bern, up Capitol, out Western Boulevard, and down what we call our southern corridor, which is down towards Garner. We also have part of that. One of the things Raleigh's doing is they're studying 2 additional extensions of the northern corridor that are also in the plan, which would be one extension going towards Midtown or the old North Hills area, and then the other extension going up towards Triangle Town Center. We also have the 2 regional BRT extensions going from Cary out to RTP and from Garner down to Clayton. And we will be studying the development and implementation of 2 new BRT corridors, one along I-40 between Raleigh and RTP, and then one in Cary along Harrison Avenue, Kildare Farm Road between I-40 and US 64, with the goal of implementing or beginning construction on at least one of those corridors within the next 10 years. And then again, we've lowered the matching requirement for the community funding area. Previously, it's been 50-50. We're lowering that to a 35% local match, 65% Wake Transit match, and have increased the funding for the program. We are estimating, just for example, for FY27, we're estimating we'll have about $1.9 million available for new projects above and beyond the existing projects that are already operating. We also want to continue to look at how we're doing and evaluate our progress. So we have several performance metrics in the plan. One metric that we are changing in this plan is instead of access to transit, we've gone to a proximity metric. So under the previous access to transit metric, we looked at a half-mile buffer along a transit corridor, and if you were within that half-mile buffer, we considered that you had access to transit. We are now, three-quarter-mile buffer, and so we are now changing that to a half-mile buffer from transit stops or stations, so actual locations where you can get onto the bus. So if you're within a half mile of one of those areas, you now have proximity to transit, and that's a metric that we think more fairly shows the likelihood of folks being able to folks actually being willing and able to ride the buses. So as you can see here, on the left side of the screen is the existing metric of within 3/4 of a mile, and then the proposed metric on the other side, which is within the half mile. And as you can see, we've modified our goals a little bit, and these goals are based on if we are able to build out our network completely as shown on the big move maps. We do not expect to complete all of that network shown on those big move maps over the next 10 years. We hope to get as far along as we can, but if we are able to get all of those services that are shown on those maps completed, this is where we expect we would be. And then again, with the frequent transit, increasing our employment access goal to 52% and our population access goal to 26%. Again, we don't expect to hit those targets by 2035, but we're hoping to get as close as possible. And then with the plan, we also have 4 other documents that are in different several other documents that we've been working on in relation to the plan. One, we have our Community Funding Area Program Management Plan. That document is going to be going out for its own public comment period here towards the end of September, and it will be, our goal is to have it approved by the governing board at the same time as the Wake Transit Plan. That document just provides the guidelines for the Community Funding Area Program itself. We also, our TPAC recently adopted microtransit guidelines to guide the development of microtransit in Wake Transit, whether it's funded through what we call our traditional Wake Transit funding or the Community Funding Area Program. And then we have some prioritization guidance we're working on to guide us to prioritize projects as they come up. So we have gone through 3 engagement phases so far. We're entering into our 4th phase. Phase 1, we asked the public about their goals and priorities. Phase 2, we went out to the public with some specific questions about investments. And then Phase 3, we went out with our proposed investment strategy, which is really the base of the plan, and asked for feedback on the strategy. And then 2 main themes that we got from that Phase 3 engagement is support of bus transit expansion and support of a larger focus on rail. So this was what we call our executive summary that we went out with in May, and we are updating that to match the updated plan that is now out there, the recommended plan. And as you can see, while we didn't receive a lot of survey responses, we had a lot of qualitative feedback at all the events we attended, and there was broad support for the direction that we are heading with our investment strategy. And again, we heard a lot of interest in expanding transit service, increasing frequency, ensuring that route changes are communicated properly, still interest in rail, and then transit riders especially expressed their desire for better conditions at existing stations and stops. Finally, for next steps, we are currently out for engagement now. It started on Friday, it'll run through October 5th. We have a joint public hearing this month at Campo at the Executive Board meeting with the Go Triangle Board of Trustees, who's the other Wake Transit Governing Board. And then in November, we are hoping that the plan will be adopted by the Go Triangle Board of Trustees and the Campo Executive Board. And finally, we have one of our flyers here. Your staff has been great, and they've been getting the information, and we'll be pushing the information out through your methods as well. We've been pushing out social media. We have a website set up. The website's on the bottom. If you can't remember that long publicinput.com website address, you can also type in waketransit.org, and that'll take you directly to the website as well. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board?
I have a quick question, Mayor.
Yeah.
You did mention on a previous slide the desire, in the feedback piece, the desire for rail. And then you talked about the transition from regional support of, I guess, regional versus commuter. So just for people paying attention, explain what the difference is.
So when we initially adopted the transit plan way back in 2017, it included a major infrastructure project that we termed commuter rail, and that was development of a new rail system that would run approximately from Garner up through to around RTP and then into Durham. And so it would, at the time when we developed that idea, the idea was that it would run on the existing train tracks. It would be a new set of trains, and it would run every roughly 30 minutes to an hour in the morning and evening, and then a little bit longer span between trains during the midday. And so we have completed 2 feasibility studies on that project and have determined that the costs have skyrocketed and are much more expensive than we can really afford. And there's question about how feasible it is to actually construct that new system in working with the railroads and also in how much ridership it would generate. And so, but understanding that there's still a broad interest for rail transit or some sort of investment in rail, that's where with this plan, we've gone into what we're terming our regional rail investment, which is really investing in the existing and planned rail that's already out there and that's already under development. So that's primarily Amtrak, the Amtrak services that currently run through the middle of the county, as well as the NCDOT's work on the S line going up towards Wake Forest and their future work on additional train infrastructure going down south towards Apex.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board?
One question, Mayor. On flip back, if you would, a couple of slides. It was your, I think you said you were concerned about the number of respondents that you had, right?
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, so we did not, because we were asking a more generalized question in that third phase, we did not get a lot of folks who actually went in and answered the survey. So a lot of our feedback was we got going out to events and talking in the community. But as far as like surveys that folks actually submitted, we did not get a lot. And that was just due to the question we were asking and the fact that by this point, we had already been out 2 other times. And I think there was also several other community surveys out of the time. And so we're definitely starting to see some of that community survey fatigue that we get.
How much weight do you put on those surveys?
We look at them we take them all into account. So, I mean, I don't know that we necessarily put any more weight on survey responses than on any other type of feedback. I mean, frankly, one things we saw is that since, there wasn't a large survey response, at least again, saying that we got it wrong, we feel that we're on the right path here with the plan and the investment strategy. You're welcome.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first slide said $3 billion over 10 years. What was, since I got to vote on the last plan, what was the spend over that 10-year period, and did we spend all of it?
So, no, we have not spent all of our money. And so part of that $3 billion is money that we have currently saved up that we have not spent over the last almost 10 years now. Part of that is the commuter rail project. Since that was in the initial plan, we have been putting money aside for that project from the beginning. So we have I think a couple $100 million set aside for that commuter rail project that goes into that $3 billion that we'll reallocate to other transit investments over the next 10 years. So that $3 billion includes funding that we have in our savings accounts, as well as what we estimate to receive over the next 10 years in sales taxes and the vehicle registration taxes.
Thank you. Just a comment. I am not one to blow, I used to be one to blow holes in things that had big numbers and took a long time to do. And I'm not going to be that person. What I will say is the largest spend and the smallest spend in y'all's budget are your two most innovative ideas, or your two places where your most innovative ideas come. And so I just encourage the board to think about, y'all aren't DOT, right? You're not just repaving the intersection, you're thinking about the future. And so this is my plug for more funding for community programming and innovative things like microtransit. I know that y'all save money, and I certainly don't want you to put yourself in a position where suddenly rail is here and we can do it. And not asking you to do that, but I do think that we went through 10 years of thinking about doing it one way, and I certainly am supportive of us thinking about doing it another way, but I really like the local things that certainly matter more to Eastern Wake County.
Yeah, and I will say, just in response to that, that's one of the things that we did, and I think that I hope that we're doing well with this plan, is really, we took a step back at the beginning and thought through and looked at what we've planned out and what we had expected to have in place, by now, and what we think we can do. And so that's why we really haven't proposed a lot of new big ideas in this plan. We're really trying to focus on, let's get everything that we've talked about for 10 years on the ground and in operation. Unfortunately, things always take longer than you expect, especially when it comes to spending government money. And so we want this plan to be focused on, yes, we're adding some things what we call low-hanging fruit that we think we can add fairly easily, but we're focusing, for the big projects, we're focusing on getting those that are already underway, getting those out on the ground and in operation.
Anything else from the board? All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just want to add
Yeah.
one item on, in the current plan is the ZWX, the Zebulon Wendell Express service, which we know has been operated for well over a decade, runs only during peak hours. So in the current plan for Go Triangle, will be coming before you in the next few months. That service will go from just peak trips, morning and rush hour time, basically, into downtown Raleigh. That service is planned this next year to go to every hour during the day. And so that is part of the current transit plan, not part of the future 10 years. And so they are looking at where stops will be located between Zebulon, Wendell, into downtown Raleigh and Wake Med. So that will be coming back for you, but that is one of those projects that you won't see in the 2035 plan. That's already in the existing plan. So just thought I would mention that here.
Thank you.
You're
It's
welcome.
very exciting for citizens. I know that they'll enjoy that efficiency of that. All right, item 4F, project updates for the Public Works Yard, the Lakewood Drive Stormwater Project, and the Pleasant Grove Connectivity Project. Mr. Bray.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Board of Commissioners. I'm here with 3 project updates tonight. The Public Works facility is well underway. The 6,000 square foot administration building and the 10,000 square foot fleet services building have full exteriors and they're walled in. Improvements so far include all the metal stud walls for each office, flex space, conference and training room, restrooms, all being fully installed, and over 50% of the drywall. Anticipated substantial completion date, which can mean the move-in date, is currently set for February 2026. You'll start seeing brick that'll be coming in literally this week. So there's a lot of improvements going day to day. Lakewood Drive project tackled a complex open ditch stormwater issue and is wrapping up with final tweaks. Improvements include the closure of an open ditch, stormwater piping, curb and gutter on the east side of the road, and sidewalks on the west side. Future paving improvements may deal with the slope of the existing roadway to allow for continuing improvement to the drainage if needed. And then we have the Pleasant Grove Connectivity Project, which is complete. This effort continued sidewalk east from where the Lakewood project left off. Installation of 6-foot walkway now continues to the Pleasant Grove site for a future connection. This project added sidewalk and a closed stormwater system. Residents may now walk from Lions Club Road to Pleasant Grove and from our downtown to Pleasant Grove and vice versa. A lot of connectivity there. And so now I have some pictures to go along with it. So here you'll see that initial kind of rendering that we had when we started this project for the Public Works Yard. And I'm going to go to the next one. So if you focus on the first building there, that's the administration building right by the flagpole. And you can see that. You can kind of see it coming together. A lot of similarities there. It's looking like it should. And again, brick is going to start here in the next week. And then right after that are windows. And once that's walled in, then all the drywalling starts inside. Inside, you'll see the metal stud is up, a lot of HVAC, electrical, plumbing, everything has been run. It's just waiting on the windows, and then the drywall will begin. That's the inside of the admin building. So here, we're taking you to, you'll see the lean-to in the back. That'll start likely right around the 1st of October. But the maintenance building with the 3 bays, the 3 large bays there, you'll see. And here's a picture of what it looks like now, the one on the left. So you can see it kind of taking shape. It's very exciting inside. There's an office in there. There's another restroom facility, a lot of storage areas and things. And then those 3 drive-through bays that you can see there. Where the little forklift is, that's going to be a like a storage area for operations, et cetera. And then again, on the right is just kind of an expanded view of another section there. And then moving over to the Lakewood Stormwater Project, you can see, if anyone's familiar with that, you know it was a big open ditch that was there for a long time that we would try to improve and maintain. And then you'll see during, there we are, we're digging for the stormwater pipe to go in. And then the after, you have that nice 6-foot sidewalk, a planting strip, curb and gutter, and and also handicap ramps were put in there as well, and it takes you all the way there to 3rd Street. And then moving to the Pleasant Grove Connectivity Project before, you just had kind of the grass field area there, had a pretty good defined ditch. There you'll see the work kind of started right there, is just scraping back. And then boom, there's what you have now. So you have a beautiful 6-foot walkway that again connects to the Lakewood project, connects to our downtown, connects the other way down to Lions Club. And you'll see there was significant grade. And so that has been handled with junipers, ground cover, and things like that. And also a beautification effort. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them on any of the projects.
I can't tell you how much it pleases me to see all these things and see the progress of them. It's very exciting. So thank y'all for all the hard work.
Thank you,
Really
Mayor.
Appreciate it. Anything from the board?
Yeah, I'll just add that I spent a little time on Lakewood, delivering Meals on Wheels over that way. So looks great, and they've done a good job between there, obviously out to Pleasant Grove. So the connectivity piece is a big deal, and I'm sure everybody here is excited to see that piece. So thank
Absolutely.
you very much.
Absolutely.
Lakewood's been a long ongoing,
It has.
getting paved even, and then they had to move it over a little bit, and it's had a lot of complications, but we got there, so thank you for that.
Absolutely. Had a great team. If I can, put a little recognition on.
Absolutely.
I have our
Proud
2
of 'em.
project managers. That's Assistant Director Gonzalez there and Town Engineer Sarah Lentine. And so both of those are integral to to those 2 projects there specifically. And then also the operations folks, all 3 teams played a part over there. So they did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, item 4G is an update on lap U 6244 intersection improvements at Wendell Boulevard and Wendell Falls Parkway. And speaking of, we're going to hear from Sarah Lentine, our engineer. Good evening.
Hello, Madam Mayor and Board. Thank you for having me here today. So we acquired LAP funding for the intersection improvement, which will include a traffic signal at Wendell Falls and Wendell Boulevard, and safety improvements. Fred Smith Company was awarded the contract, and work is expected to begin on or after September 8th today. And it's estimated to continue through the spring of '26. Just a little overview. LAP stands for Locally Administered Projects Program. It is used by Campo for local transportation projects. It utilizes federal funding for local government agencies, and then NCDOT oversees the administration of the project. Once it's complete, reimbursements are given for a portion of the funds that are spent on the project. So it's a good savings for us for projects we need. Fred Smith Company was awarded this contract. They recently worked on our first lap project at Wendell Boulevard and Marshburn Road intersection. This project is a little over $2.2 million. What it includes, utilities. We have new water line down Wendell Falls Parkway and sewer service tie-ins, stormwater at the intersection and down Wendell Falls Parkway to Cook Street, sidewalks, improved crosswalks, with signals. We're widening and resurfacing Wendell Boulevard to install the turn lane and, of course, signals. And we have landscaping as well as a commitment for the National Environmental Protection Act. Like I said, work began today. Fred Smith started bringing in some materials and mobilizing to the project. They do plan to work Monday through Friday with some weekends during daylight hours. Next Monday, we'll begin the temporary closure of Wendell Falls Parkway from Wendell Boulevard to Cook Street, and the permanent closure of Wall Street on that same day. We do have lane closure restrictions in this contract, so they will not be able to work with a lane closure Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. and 3 to 7 p.m. And we project it to be completed in spring 2026. And normally, the weekend work will not include Sundays, but it is possible if it's a critical point of work, especially during that road closure, to get that work done quickly. And if you look here, we have a indication of where the temporary closure will be. Detour will utilize 3rd Street and Cypress, so folks will be able to go and utilize that signal there to turn on Wendell Boulevard. And this section will be closed, but local traffic will be able to access it. All the residents there will be able to access their driveways, and, you know, deliveries and such can still happen. At the end of every workday, the contractor will safe up the area. Any trenches will be filled in or covered with steel plates. And then, once we have our completed project, it will allow for safer left turn movements from Wendell Boulevard and Wendell Falls Parkway, and safer crossings for pedestrians. You guys have any questions?
Any questions from the board?
The crosswalks there coming up from Wendell Falls,
Yes.
crossing over to the school, will they be our fancy one that I know we only have one fancy one, but will it be like,
Signalized?
thank you,
It
Madam
is,
Mayor.
it will be signalized with a pedestrian signal.
Beautiful, thank you so much.
I asked the other day, that's why I do what you were, okay. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
But different from the one that's by itself,
It's
because it'll
not
be
the
tied
flashing
with the
one. Yeah,
light
it'll be
itself.
with the signal,
Got it.
and it'll have the walk, don't walk
But better than the
sign.
one downtown that
Yes.
doesn't have anything for pedestrians.
Right.
Quick notification question. This may be communications. Excuse me. And I appreciate all the stuff I've seen on social media, but what was our procedure to notify the local, whether business or property owner or what have you? Are they also, were they made aware by some notification other than social media?
Yeah, the contractor was to do door knocking prior to this closure, so.
Any concerns or feedback at this point, or open it too much of a question? I'm going to withdraw that question, but they were notified.
We did have one asking about deliveries to make sure that Amazon, UPS, and all can still get in there.
Right. Thank you.
Anything else from the board? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have no public hearings tonight, so we'll move into our administrative items. And the first is the Lake Myra Lights co-sponsorship request, item 6A. I'm going to hear from our town clerk, our assistant town clerk.
Good evening. Lake Myra Lights is a holiday light display that is held on town property at the Women's Club annually. The event dates for this year are November 26th through December 31st. While the event is private, it does receive substantial town support. Currently, the town provides land, electricity, porta-johns, staff support, and equipment used during setup and breakdown, and storage for the equipment used in the display. The applicant has requested a co-sponsorship agreement for the town to continue to provide support without cost. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, anything from the board?
was just noticing that the Public Works Department now has a Public Lights Division of the Public Works Department. And with that, Madam Mayor, I'd make a motion to adopt the co-sponsorship request for the Lake Myra Lights.
All right, we have a motion to adopt the co-sponsorship request for Lake Myra Lights. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, it passes. Item 6B, Wendell Downtown Streetscape Master Plan. Mr. Coates.
Yep, good evening, Mayor and board members. I've been before you quite a few times on this project. I think we're extremely excited as staff to get this part wrapped up and to go into construction drawing phase with Pine Street. Just to give you a little recap of how we got here, in April 2022, the town of Wendell adopted Blueprint Wendell 2030 with a goal that was to adopt a downtown master plan, and also another goal that contains the goal of improving the streetscape for accessibility and multi-purpose public spaces. This is a concept design for the areas between 4th and 2nd and Cypress and Pine. As the downtown grows outward, the plan can be implemented in other areas as well. Goal 1 of your 2025 strategic plan is also to implement the next steps for the streetscape plan. The town has continued to guide long-term growth and land use through a series of enacted plans. Downtown streetscape plan, we did extensive engagement. We had plenty of surveys filled out. We talked to the community. We met at a lot of variety of meetings with business owners and the community. So tonight before you is the final version. This also helps implement the 2007 comprehensive pedestrian plan that was done. So there's quite a few projects to help implement things. For those of you that have been around a while, that 2007 comprehensive pedestrian plan, we do have to do an annual report to DOT, which talks about how well we're doing on the projects. And so it's always great when we actually get to say, we have funded sidewalks there, we have them under construction, or we built them, and things like that. So exciting. The downtown streetscape plan, just to go through a few quick slides. It's well documented that the town has been working on this for well over a decade or two. Geographic area, the study included study area, engineered parking study, stakeholder engagement, design alternatives, public surveys, graphics, and then the final plan, which was is electronic and also paper copies. We really, in this plan, worked with our consultant, Withers Ravenel. Daniel Watley is here. Major design was design for the people. We give them a reason to walk, a safe walk, a comfortable walk, and an interesting walk. This plan clearly does that in a variety of ways where we increase the outdoor space. We constantly hear, we want more restaurants. Well, a 1,000-square-foot building in downtown Wendell can't have too many seats, and it's hard for a restaurant to survive on limited seating. This plan creates a lot of outdoor space that can be used by our vendors, restaurants, nonprofits, events for the community as well. Some typical street details. Each street functions differently. 3rd Street, we all know, is a multimodal street. It connects the east side with west, and the park needs to be able to carry pedestrians, bicyclists, and cars. It's a major thoroughfare. Fortunate enough, Main Street is not a DOT road, and we can really create that as like the festive outdoor area. And so you'll see a variety of streetscape types that are in the plan. Parking study. We constantly hear, hey, you got a parking problem. At times, yes, parking gets busy. Overall utilization of our current parking does not go over 100% until mostly likely on a weekend. This plan does create additional parking in areas. It also includes additional parking on Campen and Depot, where just paving and restriping gets us some additional spots. We are, to be very transparent, we are proposing to remove some parking on Main Street by making it angled into parallel for a few blocks, but adding a lot of additional parking on 2nd Street, 4th Street, and some of the other side streets like Pine. We did an extension, the traffic signal at 3rd and Main. Is it needed? We certainly get a lot of questions and complaints over it. And based on the study that was done, the warrant analysis, that signal is not needed today nor in the future. So it can function as a 4-way stop. The cost of improving that traffic signal to have pedestrian signals, and that's a cost that's not needed. And so we can spend that money on improving the design of the entire area over that one signal. We also did add in the connection from the South Main Street Greenway, how to re-envision that chunk of Main Street that has a median? How do we incorporate a multi-use path that connects people in the south using that greenway into the downtown so they can ride their bike, walk, and get there with a variety of modes of transportation? As you notice, we still left the golf cart in the street, but the golf cart could use the multi-use path as well.
It's abandoned, honestly.
The golf cart, yeah, there's no one driving it.
That are a very small
It's
child.
it's a new version of a golf cart, and
Driverless
so
golf carts are coming
driverless
to
golf cart, yeah.
downtown
Yep, it's delivering Jersey Mikes to y'all for your nightly meeting. So some project takeaways. This is a clear, concise streetscape plan, concept design, ADA compliant design, additional outdoor space for seating, art, landscaping, includes a large list of pedestrian and bike improvements, additional parking, traffic signal removal, as I mentioned, and connection from downtown to the South Main Street Greenway. And also it's designed for event security. Hopefully you all noticed the amount of bollards and the strategic location of planters. Those are there for a reason. We also want our events to be safe. So I can field any questions you have. Daniel Watley is here, who's also in this photo. He greatly helped us throughout this process with the residents and businesses, so thank you to Withers. And as I mentioned last time, our first project, Pine Street, potential, it's in our budget to really work on Pine Street section. And so I can answer any questions you have. We're excited to get to this point with this project.
All right, any questions from the board? Comments from the board? All right, do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve, lost my slide, approve the downtown streetscape design,
Master plan. Yep.
master plan.
All right, we have a motion to approve the downtown streetscape master plans. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're swapping, so we've renamed 6D, 6C, and it's fiscal year 2026 Annual Operating Budget Ordinance Amendment Number 1.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. Presenting in your agenda packet was the first budget ordinance amendment for the fiscal year 2026 Annual Operating Budget Ordinance. You all originally adopted this budget ordinance on May 27th, earlier this year. As you all know at this point, staff does regularly analyze the budget to make adjustments, whether it be expenditure overruns, recognizing new revenues, or recognizing overperforming revenues, or requesting the appropriation of additional fund balance reserve. The town is required to adopt originally and maintain a balanced budget, which is revenues and fund balance equals expenditures. The budget ordinance amendment presented does do so. Run through the highlights, if you will. GASB 87, which revolves around leases, has some, in addition to its reporting requirements, has some budgetary requirements. So recognizing it's basically the acquisition of new assets that are being leased, and there is a revenue, if you will, but it has an offsetting expenditure. Same concept with GASB 96. Sabitas, which is software-based IT arrangements, or agreements rather. Same concept, we're purchasing new software assets, recognizing and offsetting expenditure. We've experienced a few overages already in for dues and subscriptions that are housed in the administration department. This was largely due to a lot of the organizations base their dues on per capita basis, and we're just outgrowing quicker than what we kind of budgeted for. And then the next two are we're kind of learning on the fly, if you will. We've established our stormwater funds for the first time, and The general fund employees still provide some support to the stormwater program and vice versa for solid waste and then just general stormwater administration. So best practice is to, where it was originally like a lot of Brian Bray's time and a lot of people who are assigned to public works are budgeted for in the general fund, but providing support to stormwater, backing that budgetary number out of general fund, putting it into stormwater where the activity is technically happening. So just getting all that squared up for the rest of the year. So the only reason we would need to come back for that is should something, some sort of expenditure run high for whatever reason, but we do not anticipate that at this time. And then finally, requesting additional transfers from the general fund to the general government capital project fund or capital project ordinance. As Manager Mark Collins presented and you approved a few meetings ago, the purchase of the Wake County land just west of here for the the athletic complex and the new recreation center will be constructed, recognizing the needed fund balance appropriations from general fund to be transferred over to capital, which is up for approval in the next item. Stormwater fund is just the equivalent or the second side of the equation for what we spoke of earlier in the general fund. And with that, happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, seeking approval of the ordinance amendment.
All right, any questions from the board? Yeah.
One quick one. On that stormwater fund item, will those employees in those examples that you gave become sort of like split funded, for lack of a better phrase?
That's
as opposed
effectively what's happening.
to them? It's not that they would be fully shifted to stormwater because 10% of their job is supporting the stormwater function.
Correct. Yeah, we're just reallocating portions of
A
their
portion
time.
of their, that's equivalent to sort of their duty share that matches that fund.
Correct.
Thanks.
Follow up on that. So, and I get that's best practice, but in layman's term, is that primarily so that we know the true cost of service provision for our decision-making? Is that the effectiveness of it? Is that why we do it?
Yes, yes. So this is better capturing the total cost of the stormwater program. Currently, in what this does is, yes, we're reducing the general fund expenses for salaries, but because the stormwater fund doesn't currently generate enough fee revenue, the general fund's still having to move over a blanket transfer to cover the difference. But the idea is to transparently show what the total cost of the stormwater function is, so that,
If I can just
Yes.
clarify a little bit, the basic policy is you don't want your general fund, property tax heavy or sales tax, general fund revenues offsetting utility enterprise funds. You want the business type funds to be paid for out of the business type fund. And so stormwater is a business type fund, a utility. So it's reflecting to the taxpayer the appropriate place where that's being charged and revenues are collected for stormwater fees. So you can see, a person can see how much the utility is being subsidized by the general fund versus paying for itself. You think like your water and sewer bill, in that same vein. So you want that to pay for itself to the extent possible, and you want to be transparent to your point about which way other funding goes. You cost account for your general fund staff that spend time in that utility.
Thank you.
The other clarification on the budget amendment is the purchase of the property was in a prior budget year. So that's why we're bringing general fund reserves into this budget, because it was budgeted in a prior year. So when we didn't expend it in a prior year, you put it in your savings account, if you will, and you're bringing it back out and expending it when the purchase happens. It's prior budgeted money.
thank you.
Anything else from the board?
I appreciate us following best practice, and from the outside perspective, if you're watching this, towns that bring you budget amendments are showing you their cards constantly, and that's a good thing. Appreciative of I've already said this to Garrett tonight, but I appreciate you and bringing them to us. And fun fact for everyone at home, the only thing we can't do in a budget amendment is raise your taxes. So you don't have to worry about that. You can just see what we're moving around. And with that, Madam Mayor, I move we approve Amendment 1 to the operating budget.
So we have a motion to approve Amendment 1 to the annual operating budget, Amendment 1 of the fiscal year 2026 annual operating budget ordinance. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, all in favor, or any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Next item, 6D, is the General Government Capital Project Ordinance Amendment Number 1.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So same practice as what you just adopted for the annual operating budget. The only difference is this is the General Government Capital Projects Ordinance, which is you all adopted for the first time during this budget cycle. What it does is it sets aside capital projects that meet a certain set of criteria, which you all adopted as part of the financial policies back in the late winter, early spring. So there's been a few, fortunately, some receipts of new revenues that were not originally anticipated. So first, the town received the Great Trails State Grant in the amount of $500,000 to construct or go towards constructing Phase 1 of the Buffalo Creek Greenway. Originally, that was slated to use all general obligation bonds, which the town issued in late July. As such, with the grant, that frees up $500,000, which will be going reallocated towards the Main Street Greenway construction, which came in pretty significantly over engineered estimates that we had received quite some time ago. Additionally, with the Main Street Greenway, we thought we were going to be well underway as of July 1st, so we had only budgeted what was to be remaining. That project still today hasn't broken ground yet, so we're just bringing back that money that we had thought we were going to spend. So we had $210,000 with $440,000 we thought was being spent, just reallocating that, bringing it forward. And then the remaining amount is, again, as you just approved in your annual operating budget amendment, is to bring in extra transfers in from the general fund to acquire the land for Wendell Athletic Complex and the new recreation center. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board?
Mayor, I move we approve or adopt ordinance 2225, Amendment 1 of the General Capital Project Ordinance.
So we have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025, Amendment Number 1 of the General Government Capital Project Ordinance. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? No. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move into our other business, update on board committees by board members and the Wendell Fire Department Board of Directors.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We currently have one firefighter in we will be hiring one new firefighter out of Academy 17, which we were hiring firefighters out of Academy 1. So that program is continuing to shine. There's also openings at Wendell Fire Department. So if folks are looking, they'll be advertising those jobs. And spoke to a chief this afternoon who said that he had a conversation about the relocation of Station 2. So that's another win for the fire department. It's in the design phase this year, and we'll go to build out in the following.
Thank you. Central Pine Regional Council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Meeting was the end of August, last week of August. Byron McAllister is the new chair. He's the mayor of Selma. we did recognize Brett Gant, who is the past chair. He's from Apex. I think some of you folks may know him. And they had a presentation from North Carolina Children's Hospital. So if you've paid attention to the news recently, you've seen that there is a partnership with UNC and Duke, which is one of the few things I think they can agree on is medical care for folks. But there's going to be a new children's hospital that's going to go in Apex. It will actually be convenient to Wendell at some point in the near future because it'll be located at 540 and US 1. So be a benefit to all of the county. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioners' reports, we'll start with Commissioner Joyner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to, again, thank town staff. I've now walked, biked, scootered, golf carted. The only thing I haven't taken through the carpool line yet at Wendell Elementary is a car. But in watching that process for now 2 weeks, it is nice to see I had never thought about before, and I did it, but we would ride around the school, and we were cars that were on the road, and while you were waiting to turn in, and so seeing that traffic reduction, I know that it's created places in other spots, but it certainly looks like a safer option, and when we saw that lap report tonight to see that improved intersection, it's really going to address a lot of those needs. So certainly thankful to staff for the planning of the future, but thankful for what y'all have done. I saw a police officer out there using a fancy drone to get some good information the other day. It's cool to see everybody coming together to work on even things like carpool lines, but you guys make things work better. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Lutz?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Commissioner Eatman?
I'll just quickly add on Commissioner Joyner's point, my commute was interrupted directly by the change in the carpool line, and I was particularly concerned when I first saw it that, man, I'm going to have to turn and go this other way, and it's going to, I thought I was going to not have to, I love not having to drive through traffic on Wendell Boulevard to get to Wendell Boulevard for the one block that I drove on it, but it's amazing how fast Wendell Boulevard is moving. Just I mean, everything he said is right. It is amazing sometimes if you just hang tight, see what things look like when a great plan comes together. Certainly have seen it in my commute, which is probably faster than it was before, even though I go a little bit more out of my way than I did previously. So thanks.
Commissioner Honeycutt?
You know, I used to sit out that part of the crowd, and I used to watch Commissioner Joyner thank the staff, and I always thought to myself, and I hope this is okay, Commissioner Joyner, but I thought to myself, he's just trying to get reelected, whatever. The man's not running for office, he's retiring, and he still says it. And let me tell you why. If you ever sit in this chair, they make us look good. The one picture, I was going to say something, but when Director Coates put it up there, I saw the back of some heads, and if I forget somebody, let me know, but I saw Petey Edwards, I saw Regina, I saw Caleb Sanderson, I saw Paul White, and I could go on down the list, but I feel very confident when we make decisions that staff has gone out and got the feedback and got the response and done a very robust engagement with the citizens of Wendell. When he says these things, he's right. We're very fortunate, very lucky. They make our job easy, they make it look good, and you can't say thank you enough. So guys, all of you, all the way, top to bottom, thank you. Second thing I'll say is, speaking of PD past president, I saw Roger in there. Roger was in there. The Harvest Fest is coming up October 4th, the first Saturday in October. Make sure you have that on your calendar. If you're a vendor or anybody else in Wendell, please support those guys. I'm sure Roger's hair's on fire. Patrick Calden's the past president, so he's sort of the director over in charge of it for this year. So I wish both he or them and their staff well. Thank you guys so much.
Commissioner Deloach?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to reiterate something we talked about tonight, which was, and I think it's worth repeating, September 15th, temporary closure, Wendell Falls Parkway down to Cook Street, so approximately 6 weeks. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. And then we're going to have a permanent closure that same time, September 15th, Wall Street and Wendell Boulevard. So keep that in mind, September 15th. Things are going to change a little bit for you. Everybody's going to join me on Cypress going to the stoplight, which is what you probably should have been doing all along, but fun fact. Wendell Historical Society, reverse raffle is coming up. I've received a couple texts since I've been here tonight. I've got 4 tickets left, so opportunity to support the Wendell Museum. If you didn't know we had a museum, we actually do. Fantastic place. Open Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So if you want to learn more about Wendell, come check that out. Proceeds obviously support the museum and other projects, presentations that they do. I think Commissioner Eatman's actually done a presentation for the Historical Society. We talked about downtown streetscape master plan. I felt like we needed applause for that when we were done. We didn't get that, but I'll make sure that you're applauding at home. I've been walking around with that packet since last meeting, talked to anybody that cares. A lot of folks that probably didn't, but I still solicited feedback. Everybody's excited about it, so really looking forward to that. So I say all that to say that tonight we talked about a lot of stuff that matters to most people. Transportation, obviously one of those, connectivity, is something that we preach often. Our downtown is a big part of who we are. And then we talked a lot about transparency tonight, especially with our finances. So I think that is a big thing. Kudos to everybody. And, I think it just kind of lends to the good job. I feel like we're doing great things in a lot of areas and really a lot to be excited about. So festival season is upon us. So let's celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you. Real quickly, since we last met, I was invited to speak to the 3rd graders at Carver Elementary School about local government, municipal government, and being a mayor. And of course, I explained to them what I do, how you become elected, and things like that. I talked to them about how municipalities operate, and then and I gave them examples of laws and ordinances and things that pertain to them that I thought they could relate to, like speed limit and parks and recreation programming and things like that, that when you're in 3rd grade that are very important to you or that you think is important. I did have a couple children ask me how many murders we had, so we got sidelined a little bit, but I got them back. But we did talk about some fun things, and they were very bright. They asked great questions. They were well-mannered and polite and smart, and our future is just so bright. It's always fun to go with them. They collected on their own, they all had their questions on little cards. And they gave me the cards and asked me to please go through them and make sure that we didn't miss any of the questions. So I've got that stack on my desk at home, and I'm about 2/3 the way through it. And I'm writing them all out, and I'm going to email all that to the teachers and let them know what we maybe overlooked. Some of them were repeats, but some of them were not. I always enjoy going. I appreciated being invited. I always like to share the funniest question I get when I go to schools, and this time I really didn't have a very funny one. I usually get some just crazy, funny question. But I did have a little boy ask me at the end if I had had lunch. And I said, well, I have, because it was the afternoon. And he said, because we had fajitas today, and they were really good. So I can report that lunch at Carver Elementary School is on point. Because they were all, and then several of them chimed up. They were like, yeah, we really had a great lunch today. So anyhow, that's good to know. The next thing is I wanted to give you a quick reminder that Meet on Main is September 19th from 6 to 10. It's the last one of the year. The band is the Stone Age Romeos. And if any of y'all know Kevin Bedingfield, that's him. And that will be a lot of fun that night. Food trucks, kid area, all the things like we always have, and it'll be a lot of fun. So please come and join us for that. All right, I think we have a motion to go into closed session.
Madam Mayor, I move the board go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A, 3, and 5.
Okay, we have a motion to go in closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.